We have multiple major updates revolving around this Kevin Durant situation, as it is not slowing down, and rumors and everything are just flying left and right, with new things dropping basically every single hour revolving around this situation with the Phoenix Suns and what they're trying to get back. And with more updates coming through, it seems that the Suns are trying to get Durant to a team that he wants to go to while getting the best package, but also might also not be able to get that package that they necessarily do want out there. So a lot of things to break down and a lot to look at too. Today's episode here on Suns Digest. I am Bruce Veliz. You guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support for the channel. It really is appreciated with all the love and support you guys have been giving us, and letting us know your thoughts down below in the comment section down here. Once again, this is the central place for Suns news regarding this team here. So if you want to get updates revolving everything on this team, this is the place for you. So hit that subscribe button to stay tuned when Kevin Durant does get traded, because we will have it here for you first. But without further ado, let's dive in and let's get into the news at hand today. Make sure to grab that snack and let's dive into it, as there's more buzz revolving around this Kevin Durant situation that keeps flying in left and right. We saw some updates come through last night, in which I did not get a video up for you guys, and then once again this afternoon when I wake up, I see 4 different reports basically just negating what the other report says. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So let's dive in and let's look at this. The first report came through yesterday from Kelly Iko and The Athletic here, as the Rockets apparently have a firm offer to the Suns for Kevin Durant, but Phoenix is underwhelmed with Houston's current valuation for the star forward. And if you want to know what was said in this article, basically with the Suns and the Rockets, the Suns are basically getting offered Jalen Green and the 10th overall pick for Kevin Durant, which we all know isn't the best trade that they can get out there. And Jalen Green doesn't fit what the Suns want, because they want Devin Booker, and they're the same player and they play the same position. So if the Suns were to do a deal with the Rockets, getting Jalen Green, they then have to find a third team to take that contract and find a deal that they would want to bring back onto their team that also works, which is complicating things. Not only just to add to that, but the Suns, it was said in this article as well, would like to get players Jabari Smith and or Reed Shepherd in a deal with involving Houston as well. I'm guessing that there's other teams out there on the market that are offering deals similar to that package, and a team like Houston is feeling very reluctant to do so, to add those pieces. Now, Shepherd didn't play much last season, but it was the number 3 overall pick, is still viewed as a talented prospect in Houston, and Jabari Smith, I think, would make sense for the Phoenix Suns if they were able to get him in a deal. But once again, having to find out how to move Jalen Green is that major obstacle in doing a deal with the Rockets. And we also found out from this report as well that we do know that Durant wants to play with either Miami, Houston, or San Antonio, but his main preferred destination is the San Antonio Spurs. And that was kind of inferred from all these kind of droppings and stuff revolving around the Spurs. But once again, the Spurs are very reluctant to include players like the number 2 overall pick or Stephon Castle and stuff like that, which is very limiting for what this team has been able to do. And John Gambadoro, the Suns insider, came out and dropped this today, saying this is what we've said about Miami. Despite their fan base thinks their offers they have made as yesterday were not good enough to get a deal done, but this can change through continued negotiations, as the Timberwolves are also poised to reemerge as a real contender to land Kevin Durant if he warms up to the possibility of joining Minnesota. And that's because I do believe that Minnesota is offering the best package and is the most desperate team to go out and try to trade for a contract in Kevin Durant. I feel like them and Toronto have been, the teams that we've seen the most about packages, the most linking towards Kevin Durant. It just seems that Durant doesn't want to go to those franchises and doesn't seem a long-term goal with them signing an extension. Therefore, there's a major divide in the road with that right there. Then we also keep on and diving in, knowing that apparently from Dwayne Rankin from the Arizona Central today, the Phoenix Suns reportedly have no leverage in a Durant talk, saying that the Suns may be placing too high of a value on Kevin Durant and may have to reduce their asking price in negotiating or a trade, league sources inform the Arizona Republic. The Suns have no leverage in part of Durant's age, in no part because of Durant's age and because he wants to start fresh somewhere else. The idea of Durant returning to a team entertained deals for him before the 2025 deadline isn't a pleasant one. And that's something that we've kind of heard as well. We also saw, Brian Windhorst even come out today and say the Suns could consider keeping Durant. Now, I don't see them doing that. Once again, they have to get underneath these second aprons. The only way they can do that is realistically trading Kevin Durant, and that's why we're in this situation to begin with. If they didn't have Bradley Beal's contract, this would not be happening. Durant would have signed that extension, and we would be working towards building a new core with him, Booker, and some other players around them to compete in the Western Conference. But unfortunately, because they made that Bradley Beal trade, because they made that DeAndre Ayton trade, They have hindered themselves with the flexibility and movement that they've been able to make, and therefore, with Bradley Beal kind of being viewed as maybe not an untradeable asset, but a very negative asset out there, and one that is going to be very hard to move out there on the open market, it presents the Suns with even more obstacles because they might have to look to move off Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal to get more contracts to then move off of one of those guys, or maybe they have to throw one of these guys in the deal with Kevin Durant to get the deal done. Once again, it is just so much noise and just buzz revolving around this situation. But we did see from PHNX, from the latest, from Shams, and the Pat McAfee show, is that the Rockets and the Heat are the most realistic as of right now. There's no motivation from the Spurs to get a deal done, and Minnesota isn't out of it. And that's basically what we've heard basically from all of this, right? We also saw, once again, the Rockets and the Heat are the most likely landing spots for Durant than the Spurs at this moment. And this was a snippet from an interview with Mark Stein, and Mark Stein says that the Suns are trying to get back as much as they can, and that's why it's been basically whispered to Team Durant that, look, we're really trying to send you somewhere else that you don't want to. We're not trying to send you somewhere where you don't want to go, but we gave up so much to get you, and we're duty bound to get back as much as we can. Everyone's dealing with the Suns knowing they're in a desperate situation, and teams like San Antonio and Houston are not interested in giving the Suns a major haul. The reluctance of these teams to offer significant trade assets stems from the fact that Durant only has 1 year left on his $55 million contract and will turn 37 before next season. And that makes sense, right? It seems that Miami and Toronto, who are that mystery team that everyone doesn't know is a mystery team but is out there, and even the Heat are the most aggressive in doing these deals, right? The Heat want a change of culture. They want another star to be put him alongside Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, and they feel that if they can get Kevin Durant and they can have some of these role pieces on their squad, that they can take that leap and they can take that jump in the Eastern Conference. We also do know that the Timberwolves, after making back-to-back Western Conference Finals, really want to get a guy like Kevin Durant because they feel like he could take them over that top and over that hump into this next round and into even the NBA Finals, potentially even winning a championship. But not just that, the fact that Anthony Edwards, has such an infatuation with Kevin Durant being his number one player in the NBA growing up, it would just make perfect sense for them to pair him alongside one of the guys that he's always loved, because then that communication and that chemistry would be there right from the get. They would be absolutely locked in, so it makes sense. But it also makes sense why Houston and San Antonio are interested, right? Obviously, we all heard the rumors of Giannis, and at this point it doesn't seem like Giannis will be traded, but with that being said, if throughout the season or even next offseason that becomes a possibility, the Spurs and the Rockets would love to get all in on that deal and have the assets to go out and do so. So they don't want to sacrifice any of these assets to get a deal for Kevin Durant when they know that that possibility or even another superstar out there on the market could be there for them to take and hopefully be able to put them over the top, because once again, he's not 37. He'll fit into their age gap a little bit better, and he also will be not on a 1 year deal, so they have some security around that contract. I also do want to preface that with the Rockets, it does seem that their front office is a little bit more hesitant than their coaching staff, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on with doing this deal, because I think eventually Houston's front office, in my personal opinion, will cave and will get the deal done. I just don't see San Antonio giving up enough that the Suns are willing to take a deal with them, and they know that Kevin Durant wants to go there. That's why they think they're going to, I guess, try to get the most out of them. I do believe with Houston, they will be able to find a way to get a deal done. And even if that is having Jalen Green on the roster for a week or two and trying to find a deal later on throughout the offseason, that would give me at least some reassurance that this team is willing to pull a trigger and make a move. Because recently, like I mentioned, the rumors have just been flying around left and right, and it's been really ridiculous as someone here who's been trying to break it all down, because I wake up and I just see everything just negating each other on these reports, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I just want to see something actually go through so we don't have to have this discussion anymore. We can have our roster kind of figure it out of what we're going to go in with our identity, know if we have a first round pick going into the lottery, can look into that, and really buy into this offseason and this new direction for the Suns team. I really do think that this trade debt will go down this week, and I'm hoping that it goes down before the next game in the NBA Finals on Thursday. Would love to see it go down either today or tomorrow, so we have a lot to talk about and a lot more to look forward to getting up for the draft, because once again, the draft is now going to be less than 2 weeks away from tomorrow, or less than a week away from tomorrow, and the Suns still don't know what pick they're going to be selecting, even in the lottery, if they do trade for that pick, and we all know they want to. So very confusing. Just want to stay up to date, basically, with this team. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate all your guys' support. Once again, if you do enjoy the content, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Once again, we will have more updates revolving around the situation, and when real news does break out, we will have it for you guys here regarding this team. So let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know who you guys ultimately think about this Kevin Durant situation, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.